the Victoria Cross. I'm sorry to have to say it, but Mrs. Crump and me, she's my right-hand next-door neighbour, we never could agree, mind. It's not for the want of trying, for I've tried the best I know. But the airs that woman gives herself, they do upset me so. I haven't patience with her. When our Harry was 19, he said he'd be a soldier, and he'd go and join the Queen. And me and our Jim were willing, because the lad was strong and fine, just made to be a soldier. So he went and joined the line. And the day that he enlisted, as I was at the pump, drawing water for me washing, in rushes Mrs. Hyde. "Oh, Mrs. Crump," she said, "you're Harry, your wicked, wicked son." "Mercy," I said, "what is it? Whatever has he done?" "Done?" she repeats in a passion. "What hasn't he done?" cried she. "He's led away my Tommy and worked on him shameful. He's taken him to the barracks and enlisted him in the line." And then she throws her hands up. "To think that a son of mine should be a common soldier." "Well," said I, "more's the pride, for he couldn't be anything better." "What?" she says, "Mrs. Hyde, my son's being brought up respectable." "And mine," as I replied, "and to be an English soldier is an honourable trait for any man to follow. Do you think we're afraid to say our son's a soldier? No, Mrs. Crump, we're proud. The service should be longer than it's commonly allowed. And when a man's served faithful for the best years of his life, there should be provision for him, and a pension for his wife. And take the British Army as have got it now," said I. "'Twill give our boy employment and promotion by and by, lodgings and clothes and rations, and drill him straight and tall." For bless your heart, Tommy was all of a perfect sprawl. And talk of what's respectable, could you ask for an honour more than for him to wear the scarlet that the Duke of Wellington wore? "Oh," she said, "a Duke, well, that's different." "Oh, no," said I, "it's not. As the leaders gives the orders, it's the soldiers fire the shots. You must have them both together." But she sits and wrings her hands. The army did for officers that had to give commands. 'Twould be ruin for her, Tommy. Could I look her in the face and say that private soldiers were the sweeping of the place? "Yes," I said, "you are 20. I deny that that's the case. And if they were the sweeping of it, 'twould just be our disgrace. It's a duty we owe to our country to stand by our rank and file." "Yes, Mrs. Crump, our duty." For I saw her give a smile, sort of pitying and superior, and I wouldn't let it pass. "The rank and file's our making, it's drawn from the working class," I said. "And for us to run it down is a burning shame and sin. Call it an army fit for rascals, and you'll get the rascals in. But call it what it is," I said, "a service for the best, and you'll get the best to join it." She clutches at her chest. She'd got her mother's feelings. No doubt I thought it fun to talk of death and accident. She didn't want her son shot dead in a field of battle. "Well," said I, "as for death and accident, there's not a man draws breath that might not die tomorrow, though he's strong enough today. I hope," she says, "the army's all you make it out." And she looks at me insulting. "It may do for your son, but for a man to be a soldier and join a company, for Tommy to wear a uniform and march behind a band, it's a scandal in our family that you wouldn't understand." Well, I pumped and I filled my bucket and I set it on the bones. "Well," I said, "your Tommy should sit in the House of Lords, we all know that. But our Harry's the son of a working man, and he's going to earn his living in the finest way he can. And dear me, if your family's so wonderful," said I, "that your boy must be a Prime Minister or something quite as high. There's no need standing here making such a rumpus or a rout. As time is at the barracks, you can go and buy him out." And if you can believe me, that woman had no more sense than to pawn her clothes to do it. She didn't mind the expense, she said, to save her Tommy. And a save it was, you see, he'd been out of work 12 months before that enlistment day. Now he's gone back to his corner and he's loafed there ever since. Well, our boy went to Egypt. We knew why he'd gone to fight. For Jim followed the war in the paper and he read it to me at night. We knew that out in Africa, in the heart of the Sudan, the noblest Africa, in the heart of the Sudan, the noblest Christian soldier, the bravest Englishman that ever wore Queen Scarlet, was besieged in a Turkish town. And round that desert city the Arabs had come down, flocks of them, fierce as vultures, that watch slow days go by. We knew it was Charles George Gordon that was keeping the Arabs at bay. And we knew it was to rescue Gordon that our soldiers had gone away. We said they'll be sure to do it, me and Jim in our little room. But we didn't know the plundering, the delay that wrought his doom, the shameful, pitying ending of the story of Khartoum. We'd a letter or two from Harry saying he was well, he'd come home brown as coffee, with 100 tales to tell. But for all his fun, I fancied things wasn't as well as he said. And when the fighting began and the lists came out of the dead, my heart seemed gone to nothing. For something told me plainly we'd never see our Harry, our handsome lad, again. I wouldn't look at the papers. Jim said, hide them away. And he put his arms around me as he did on our wedding day. Don't cry, Mother. Don't lose heart, said he. Our lad's in God's good keeping wherever he may be. In Egypt as in England, and I knew he was speaking true. It was only a few days later that the news rushed over the sea of the battle in the desert by the wells of Boagey. By the wells of Boagey. I remember that winter morning. Snow spread like a winding sheet, and the neighbours glanced and whispered as I passed along the street. A man stood reading the paper. Was your son Harry Hyde, said he, who was fighting in a battle by the wells of Boagey? Yes, I said. Yes, he's dead. His name's in the British loss. Dead, he said. Why, bless the woman, he's won the Victoria Cross. Oh my, so he had. Oh my goodness. Now I haven't time tonight to tell you how he won it, but he won it sure and right. And when the fighting was over and the regiment's home again, every man had got a medal who worked in that hard campaign. But only one had got the cross, and that was my own boy. The Queen hung it on his jacket. Just think of our pride and joy. Under the trees at Windsor, and bless you, we were there. For Jim said, come old lady, we'll go and take our share of the glories and rejoicing. And we brushed ourselves up neat, and off we went together. And as we crossed the street, there was Mrs. Crumple walking. My, you're looking smart today, said she. Of course, I said, we're going down to Windsor to see Her Majesty. I said, as cool as sixpence. And to see her stand and stare, 'twas worth 1,000 shillings. It's a family affair, I said. The Queen and our boy and we. You know, our boy that's in the army. Jim stood and laughed at me when we were out of hearing, but I couldn't see the fun. 'Twas her who said the army wasn't fit for her precious son. Oh, but I will never finish. I can't describe the sight. And we'll never see another me and Jim till our heads are white, with drums and music clashing and flags flying out in the air. And lines of soldiers are marching everywhere. And there was the royal carriage. It was set where we couldn't pass, with a great wide square of scarlet drawn round it on the grass. And right in the middle was Harry, and we got struck back in the crowd. He was there, and I couldn't see him, and I cried right out aloud to a towering tall policeman, oh, for pity's sake, let us through. Get back, stand back, he said, there's no place here for you. I was ready to burst out crying in my trouble and distress, when just then came an officer riding into the press. Something splendid to look at, a helmet of gold he had, and I caught hold of his stirrup leather, and Jimmy thought I was mad. Sarah said, sir, they won't let me see my lad. We're only working people, but they say there's no room for we. But he's my son, sir. It's my Harry that I want to get to see, him that won the Queen's Cross there in Egypt. Won the Queen's Cross, said he, and he sent the people flying with one touch of his noble horse. Make way for this woman to pass, he said. Her boys won the Victoria Cross. Yeah.